Welcome back to Crypto Atlas, your daily source for crypto whale alerts, crypto market news, and DeFi gems. All right, let's talk about one of the biggest XRP announcements that we've seen in years. Asheesh Birla, the former Ripple exec who helped scale RippleNet globally, they just dropped a bombshell. He's now the CEO of Evernorth, a new company built entirely around accelerating institutional adoption of XRP. He said Evernorth is a first of its kind institutional vehicle designed to meet this exact moment where XRP has a decade of proven uptime, deep liquidity, and a growing DeFi ecosystem. And now they're giving institutions a way to get real regulated exposure to XRP. So here's what that means. Evermore just went public with a business combination deal. This is with Armada Acquisition Corp 2, a SPAC already listed on Nasdaq. And when the merger closes, the combined company will trade on Nasdaq under the ticker XRPN. That's right, an XRP linked stock on a US exchange. The deal is expected to raise over $1 billion, and it's not just retail hype. This includes $200 million from SBI Holdings, plus backing from Ripple, RippleWorks, and major crypto players like Pantera Capital, Kraken, and GSR, with participation from Chris Larsen himself. And that money isn't just sitting there. The filing says the next proceeds will fund open market purchases of XRP to build what they're calling the world's leading institutional XRP treasury. So in plain terms, Evernorth is going to buy XRP directly from the open market, not from Ripple, and hold on to their balance sheet as a reserve asset. That's a huge distinction because it means there's real, transparent buying pressure coming from a public company that's regulated and required to report its holdings. Investors will literally be able to see how much XRP is held by Evernorth every quarter. Now, what's really cool is how Evernorth is structured. Unlike a passive ETF that just mirrors the price, this thing is active. Evernorth plans to grow its XRP per share over time through lending, liquidity provisioning, and DeFi yield strategies. Basically, they're not just holding XRP, they're putting it to work in the XRP ecosystem, earning yield, and feeding that value back to shareholders. So if you own XRPN stock, you are getting exposure to XRP's price, but also to XRP-based DeFi returns. That's something traditional ETFs can't do right now. Asheesh explained it perfectly. Evernorth aims to capitalize on both traditional finance yield strategies and DeFi yield opportunities, while simultaneously strengthening the XRP ecosystem. It's designed as a symbiotic model where the company profits as XRP adoption grows and its activities help XRP utility expand at the same time. Evernorth's leadership team is stacked too. Asheesh Birla as CEO, Matthew Fromyer as CFO, Meg Nakamura as the COO, Jessica Jones as Chief Legal Officer, and Sagar Shah as Chief Business Officer. That's a team with serious fintech and capital markets experience. Ripple itself is a strategic investor, not the owner, and Ripple's top executives, including Brad Garlinghouse, Stuart Alderati, and David Schwartz, will serve as strategic advisors. So there's tight alignment with the XRP ledger, but Evernorth still operates independently, which is key for regulatory clarity. Brad Garlinghouse even said he's, quote, fully confident in Asheesh and his team's ability to take XRP's presence in capital markets to the next level. That's huge coming from Ripple's own CEO, and it signals that this move is part of a larger strategy to make XRP a mainstream asset in traditional finance. Now, about the details, the merger is expected to close in the first quarter of 2026, pending approvals. After that, Evernorth will start executing on its vision, which includes some major initiatives. They'll operate XRP validators to boost network resilience and decentralization. They'll integrate Ripple's new RLUSD stablecoin as a DeFi on-ramp, meaning that RLUSD can flow into XRP base lending and liquidity pools. And they'll help provide liquidity and market support for projects building on XRP Ledger, expanding its real-world use in payments, tokenization, and capital markets. So in other words, they're not just hoarding XRP. They're turning it into a working asset across multiple parts of the ecosystem. Asheesh Birla used to be the guy who made RippleNet a global force. Now he's building the financial bridge between XRP and Wall Street. And the fact that this is going public with a Nasdaq ticker means institutional investors can finally gain XRP exposure without having to touch crypto exchanges or wallets themselves. So think about that. Pension funds, hedge funds, family offices, all can buy into XRPN like any other stock. That's a major unlock for capital inflows. So now let's go ahead and go over some of the reactions online. Brad Garlinghouse tweeted that Ripple was proud to partner with Asheesh and Evernorth, and that this venture will participate in institutional lending, liquidity provisioning, and DeFi yield opportunities for XRP. Then Chris Larsen followed up, congratulating Asheesh and announcing he personally invested 50 million XRP into the firm. He even said you might set those wallet movements on chain. That's confirmation that this isn't just talk. Founders of Ripple are literally putting their XRP into this new company. And then you have crypto analyst Zaif Crypto, who summed it up. Evernorth is backed by Ripple and plans a Nasdaq listing to raise over $1 billion to build the largest publicly traded XRP treasury ever. The deal is closing early next year, and big name investors like SBI, Pantera, and Kraken are all on board. And then VetXO, another well-known XRP community voice, said it perfectly. This is insane. Over $1 billion raised to advance the XRP ecosystem, funding infrastructure, DeFi, and liquidity. He pointed out how this strengthens XRP's role in network infrastructure, DeFi participation, and yield capture. Even Ripple's chief legal officer, Stuart Alderati, chimed in, saying XRP's clear regulatory standing in the US makes it no surprise that companies like Evernorth are focusing on it. That's an important reminder. XRP is one of the few digital assets with actual legal clarity in the US, and that gives institutions confidence to build around it. Now, here's where things get wild. Just as this news was circulating, CNBC broke a story announcing that Walmart will now accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. These are going to be for payments via OnePay Cash, a platform that reportedly reaches over 150 million users. So if that's accurate, this could mark one of the biggest adoption moments ever for XRP. You have analyst Chad Steingraber, who jumped in to clarify the payments backed for that deal is handled by Zero Hash. And guess what stablecoin Zero Hash is using? RLUSD, Ripple's own stablecoin. So that connects right back to Ripple's ecosystem. If Walmart's payment infrastructure is using RLUSD for settlement and OnePay integrates XRP, that's a direct tie between retail payments and the XRP ledger. Combine that with Evernorth's institutional focus, and you've got adoption happening on both ends, retail and institutional at the same time. Now, crypto researcher Rath of Kahneman added more context from the filings. He said the 8K form confirms Ripple is a named party in the SPAC merger. One clause even requires Evernorth to buy XRP equal to the advance funding proceeds within 10 days of closing. Again, that's actual open market purchasing. The contract uses the word purchase, not transfer, so it's not XRP being handed over by Ripple, it's new buying pressure. That means the moment this deal finalizes, Evernorth will have to go out and acquire a huge chunk of XRP from exchanges or over-the-counter deals. And since it'll be a public, regulated company, its XRP holdings will appear on balance sheets that we can all see. Rath also pointed out that Armada's registration will shift from the Caymans to Delaware, which makes sense because Delaware entities are standard for Nasdaq listings. It also increases U.S. regulatory oversight, which again strengthens credibility. So zooming out, we've got Ripple, SBI, Pantera Capital, Kraken, GSR, and Chris Larsen all backing this new publicly traded vehicle. We've got XRP being actively bought for a $1 billion treasury. We've got DeFi yield participation, validator support, and stablecoin integration. And now potentially mass market payment rails that go through Walmart and RLUSD. That's a lot of dominoes lining up for XRP, and all in just a few days of announcements. So things have been absolutely wild for XRP as of lately. And just taking a very quick look here at the price movement for the day, you guys can see that the price is moving up. We're getting close to $2.50 while I'm recording this video, and we had 2 previous days closed out of green. So it's starting to make a bit of a recovery. We're back to where we were on October 15th. So let me know what you guys think. Share your thoughts with us down in the comments below. I do have a referral link to BTCC. You can find that in the description. And I'm also on Blue Sky at Crypto Atlas. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters, as well as my YouTube members. God bless, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.